Whisper of the Heart, Part 2, Echoes of Yesterday. The rain had continued through the night, but by morning, the clouds had begun to break, leaving a delicate mist over the small town. Alice stood by the window, watching as the first rays of sunlight filtered through the droplets clinging to the glass. The air smelled fresh, clean, like the promise of a new beginning. Yet there was something lingering in her mind, an echo from the night before. Jack's words had stirred something within her, something she hadn't felt in years. She heard the familiar sound of footsteps approaching from behind her. Jack entered the room, his expression as thoughtful as ever. The easy silence between them had returned, but the air felt heavier today, charged with the things left unsaid. As he joined her by the window, their eyes met for a brief moment, and for the first time, the weight of years between them seemed to dissolve.
"You're quiet this morning. Still thinking about last night?"
Yes, I suppose I am. It's strange, isn't it? How one conversation can make you start to see things differently, like it stirred something up that I thought had settled long ago.
Sometimes things don't settle as much as we think they do. They just wait until we're ready to face them.
Maybe. Or maybe we just keep ourselves too busy to notice what's been there all along. Question: do you believe that the past ever truly leaves us, or do we carry it with us, even when we think we've moved on? A. We carry the past with us, whether we acknowledge it or not. B. The past can fade, but only if we actively choose to let it go. C. It's not the past that lingers, but the memories we cling to.
Answer A. We carry the past with us, whether we acknowledge it or not. I think the past never really leaves us. It shapes us, molds us into who we are, even if we think we've moved on. We carry it with us in our choices, our fears, our hesitations. It's not about letting it go, but learning to live with it, making peace with what was, and using it to guide us forward.
Yes, I think you're right. It's like, no matter how much time passes, there are certain memories that still linger, certain feelings that never quite fade. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if things had been different for us, if we had met sooner?
I've thought about it. Sometimes I wonder if it would have changed anything. Maybe we weren't ready back then. Maybe we had to go through everything we did before to end up here.
Here, now, after all this time. But isn't it strange to think that we might have crossed paths 1,000 times and never really noticed, that the timing was always just a little off?
The room grew quiet again, the only sound the gentle ticking of the clock on the wall. Outside, the mist had begun to lift, revealing the world beyond, fresh, bright, as if untouched by the years of memories that still weighed heavy inside. Alice set her glass down and turned to Jack, a question forming on her lips, though she hesitated to ask it.
Do you ever think about the choices we didn't make, the lives we didn't live? Question: do you believe that our lives are shaped more by the choices we make or by the ones we don't? A. The choices we make define us, but the ones we don't can haunt us. B. It's the unmade choices that shape us more by showing us what we could have been. C. Every choice matters, but it's the ones we make that lead us to who we are.
Answer C. Every choice matters, but it's the ones we make that lead us to who we are. I think every choice, made or unmade, leaves a mark, but in the end, it's the ones we act on that shape the course of our lives. We could spend forever wondering about what might have been, but it's what we do, what we choose to do, that defines who we become. The rest is just echoes of yesterday.
Echoes of yesterday. That's a good way to put it. I guess it's easy to get lost in the what-ifs, but maybe you're right. Maybe we're exactly where we're supposed to be because of the choices we made, not in spite of them.
The day outside was growing brighter, the last of the mist fading into the blue sky. Jack moved away from the window and stood by the fireplace, his eyes distant as though he was considering something he hadn't thought about in years. Alice could feel the shift in his mood, the tension rising between them once again.
Jack, if you had the chance to go back, to make a different choice, would you?
I don't know. It's easy to say we'd change something, that we'd do things differently, but would we, or would we just end up right back where we started, with the same regrets, the same hopes? Maybe it's not about changing the past, but learning to accept it, to find peace with it.
And what about the future? Do you think we still have time to change things, to make new choices? Question: do you believe it's ever too late to change the course of your life, to make a new choice? A. It's never too late. Every day is a new chance to start over. B. Some choices are final, and once made, they can't be undone. C. It depends on the choice. Some paths can be altered, but others are set in stone.
Answer A. It's never too late. Every day is a new chance to start over. I don't think it's ever too late. We like to think we're stuck, that we've made our bed and now we have to lie in it, but that's not true. As long as we're still breathing, we have a chance to change things. Maybe not everything, but enough to make a difference.
I think you're right. Maybe it's not about looking back anymore. Maybe it's about finding the courage to move forward, to make a choice, even now, that could change everything.
The day had fully dawned now, the light streaming into the room through the wide windows. The world outside seemed to pulse with possibility, with the promise of new beginnings. Alice and Jack stood together, the weight of the past still present, but somehow lighter now, less a burden, more a reminder that there was still time, still room for change.
So, what do we do now?
I guess that depends on what we choose next.
They exchanged a glance that spoke more than words ever could, a silent acknowledgement that the future was still unwritten, that there was still a spark left, however faint, waiting to be reignited. The moment lingered between them, fragile but full of promise. And so, with the echoes of yesterday slowly fading, Alice and Jack stood side by side, ready to step into whatever tomorrow might bring, together. 5 words related to the theme of Whisper of the Heart. Part 2. Echoes of Yesterday.
Reflection. The process of looking back on past choices and understanding their impact. Possibility. The belief that change is always possible, even after many years.
Regret, the lingering feeling that certain choices, once past, cannot be undone. Courage, the strength to face the past and make new choices for the future.
Renewal, the idea that love, like life, can be renewed even after time and distance.